Good day, everyone. Good day, ma'am. I'm Elaiza Taculod from BS Section 3B, and what I'm going to report the Chapter 14 entitled Insurance Law. And we have here the learning objectives, and at the end of my report, students are expected to learn the following. First is to enumerate items that can be insured by tourism establishments. Second is to identify the rationale behind the concept of insurance. And third, explain the different kinds of insurance. And lastly, identify the advantages and disadvantages of having insurance. Insurance is very useful for companies engaged in the tourism industry because there are many kinds of risks in enterprises where investment oftentimes is quite substantial. By way of example, an employer may subscribe to a group insurance of his employees as a part of its employee benefit program. Companies utilizing building structures for the operation of their hotels, restaurants, and other tourism-related establishments may think of investing in property insurance against fire or earthquake to protect their investments. Lastly, an investment in marine insurance, the usual practice among companies engaged in the transportation of cargoes at sea, may also be worth looking at. Insurance contracts are governed by the Insurance Law PD 612, which instituted that insurance code now referred to as PD 1460. In case of the latter's deficiency, the provisions of the Civil Code of the Philippines govern. Moving forward, we have here the definition and concept. The law. Section 2.1 A contract of insurance is an agreement whereby one undertakes for a consideration to indemnify another against loss, damage, or liability arising from an unknown or contingent event. So we have here the essential elements of an insurance contract are insurable interest, existence of risk, assumption of such risk by the insurer, said assumptions being part of a general scheme to distribute actual losses among those bearing similar risk, payment of premium, and also we have here the characteristic of an insurance contract are aleatory. There is an element of risk. An aleatory contract is one where the obligations depends upon the concurrence of an uncertain events, as in the case of fire insurance, or one certain to happen but an indeterminate time, death and life insurance. Contract of indemnity. There is an exchange of value. There is an exchange of value for value, particularly in property insurance. Onerous. There is a valuable consideration given or the payment of premium. Bilateral. Both parties are bound to do something. Formal. As to form a policy is required to be issued and the premium must be paid. We have here also the parties in insurance contract are insurer, a person, partnership, association, or corporation duly authorized to transact an insurance business. Insured, a person with an insurable interest who stands to benefit from a policy of insurance. In its strict sense, the insured party is the owner or purchaser of the policy, even though benefit of the insurance may accrue to someone else. Beneficiary, a person designated by the terms of the policy to receive the proceeds of the insurance policy upon the happening of the event insured against. It is a person named in an insurance policy as the one to receive proceeds or benefits occurring thereunder. We have here also insurance contracts may refer to the following: life insurance, an insurance on human lives, and insurance pertaining thereto to connected therewith. Fire insurance, which includes loss by fire, lightning, windstorm, tornado or earthquake, and other allied risks, when such risks are covered by extension to fire insurance policies or under separate policies. Marine insurance, a contract whereby one for a consideration agrees to indemnify another for the loss or damage on a certain interest subject to marine risk by certain perils of the sea or specified casualties during a voyage or fixed period. Personal accident insurance, an insurance which provides pecuniary compensation for expenses or losses of income brought about by death or bodily injury arising from violent, external, visible, and accidental means. An insurance contract is considered a contract of adhesion in which also all the provisions have been drafted only by one party, usually the insurance company. The only participation of the other party is a signing of his signature or his adhesion. In this regard, such contracts are to be construed liberally in favor of the insured and strictly against the insurer in resolving all ambiguities against the latter. The rule that contracts of insurance will be construed in favor of the insured and most strongly against the insurer should not be permitted to have the effect of making a plain agreement ambiguous and then construe it in favor of the insured. In addition, it is elemental law that the payment of premium is requisite to keep the policy of insurance in force. If the premium is not paid in the manner prescribed in the policy as intended by the parties, the policy is ineffective. Partial payment, even when accepted as partial payment, will not keep the policy alive, even for such a fractional part of the year as the part payment bears to the whole payment. Moving forward, we have here also the insurable interest. Section 10. Every person. Section 10. Every person has an insurable interest in life and health of any person on whom he depends wholly or in part for education or support, or in whom he has pecuniary interest, of any person under a legal obligation to him for the payment of money or respecting property or services of which death or illness might delay or prevent the performance. Section 13. Every interest in property, whether real or personal, or any relation thereto, or liability in respect thereof, of such nature that a contemplated peril might directly indemnify the insured, is an insurable interest. We have here also the section 14. An insurable interest in property may consist in an existing interest, insurate interest founded on an existing interest, an expectancy coupled with an existing interest out of which the expectancy arises. And also we have here the section 15. A carrier or depository of any kind has an insurable interest in a thing held by him as much to the extent of his liability, but not to exceed the value thereof. An insurable interest is that relationship with a person or thing that will support the issuance of an insurance policy. A person is usually regarded as having an insurable interest in the subject matter insured when he will derive pecuniary benefit or advantage from its preservation, or will suffer pecuniary loss or damage from its destruction. Insurable interest in property should exist not only on the date of execution of the contract of insurance, but on the date of the occurrence of the risk insured against. On the other hand, insurable interest in the life and health of a person insured must exist when the insurance takes effect, but need not exist thereafter or when the loss occurs. We have here also the insurable interest in group insurance. Any person so related to another, either by contract or commercial relation, may lawfully procure insurance on the other's life. Thus, an employer may insure the life of the employee and vice versa. The primary aim of group insurance is to provide the employer with a means of procuring insurance protection for his employees and their families at the lowest possible cost, and in so doing the employer creates goodwill with his employees, enables the employees to carry a larger amount of insurance, and helps to attract and hold a permanent class of employees. A group insurance is essentially a single insurance contract that provides coverage for many individuals. It provides life or health insurance coverage for the employees or the employer. In order to validly claim benefits from the group insurance, employees must be actively at work and must have completed a specified period of continuous employment. Otherwise, the insurable interest ceases. Generally, group insurance have non-forfeiture clauses, except for term insurance that provides protection for a limited period, 5, 10, or to 15 years. If an employee's group insurance terminates because he leaves the employee has the privilege of converting the group insurance within 1 month following the termination of employment into any standard form of insurance except for a term insurance. Some countries like the United States of America provide coverage while others do not. The International Air Transportation, or the IATA, has argued that airlines in countries that do not provide coverage are at a competitive disadvantage. under the Federal Aviation Administration program, insurance coverage for passenger and third-party liabilities for U.S. airlines is approximately zero point 0.7 US dollar passenger compared to almost 3 US dollars outside of the US. IATE policy. In most jurisdictions, including the European Union (EU), airlines are required by law to have liability insurance, including coverage for WMDs. Aircraft lease agreements also require coverage of war risk insurance, since the use of WMDs is directed against states. The ultimate responsibility for security of citizens rests with states. It has been held that a stray interpretation which is unnatural and forced as to lead to an absurd conclusion or to render the policy nonsensical should by all means be avoided. Likewise, it must be borne in mind that such contracts are invariably prepared by the companies and must be accepted by the insured in the form in which they are written. Any construction or a marine policy rendering it void should be avoided. Such policies will, therefore, be construed strictly against the company in order to avoid a forfeiture unless no other result is possible from the language used. Be that as it may, exceptions to the general coverage are construed most strongly against the company. And that's the end of my report. Thank you and have a good day.